Why, hello there. You know what? I have not played Age of Fantasy from one-page rules before, so let's give it a try. We have 750 point armies, Dark Elves here. We've got a champion who is a sorcerer attached to a unit of 10 Dark Warriors. Both the sorceress and the Dark Warriors have boarding attack. And there's a banner bearer, a champion and a musician here. 5 witches with dual toxin daggers. They also have boarding attack. 5 corsairs with dual hand weapons, boarding attack and looting frenzy. The Dark Elf artillery is a repeater bolt thrower, and then this munchkin here represents an abyssal beast. Goblins! We have got a goblin leader mounted on a giant cave beast. Shooters, a squad of 10 and a squad of 5 of the Spider clan. Beast Riders, sadly not all painted, forgive me. Armed with lances. And 3 grumpy trolls, one of which is armed with a heavy great weapon. This fellow here. The mission is Headquarters. This is a progressive scoring mission with 2 objectives, one in each of the army's deployment zones. Here's the Dark Elf Headquarters and the Goblin Headquarters. The Dark Elves have quite a heavy right flank deployment here, because they wanted to make sure that their bolt thrower had a clear line of sight for shooting, and then the abyssal beastie bringing up the left flank. Goblins, there don't seem to be many around, do they? That is because the trolls and the beast riders are from the Forest clan, and they have scout, and we can place them down now. Where do you think? Here we go. So the Beast Riders set up in the town ruins in the centre. They have Strider, so it can just move straight through that without any problems. And the Trolls over here on the Goblin's right flank. They want to take apart the Abyssal Beast. Okay, round 1. Let's see who activates first. On a 1, 2 or 3, it will be the Dark Elves. Yeah. Alright, I think the Dark Elves will simply put the Bolt Thrower on Overwatch. Over with the Goblins, this small unit of 5 shooters will go on Overwatch since their only role is to defend the headquarters. Alright, someone's going to have to make the first move over on the left flank, so the Abyssal Beast will swim through the ether, rushing here. Right, time to move this squad of 10 Goblin shooters. They're going to rush this way, not the full distance, because we don't want to be charged by the Corsairs. The Dark Elf Bolt Thrower could potentially shoot at the Goblins, but I think the weapons team are hoping for a bigger target. The Dark Elf Corsairs will rush, there's no point hanging around. There we go. Alright, I think we're going to charge with the Trolls. Let's get some fighting going on. So, yes, into the Abyssal Beast. Right, 2 heavy hand weapons first. 3 attacks each, quality 4. Right, that's 2 hits at armor piercing 1. The Abyssal Beast has a defense of 3, so 4's to save. 1 wound. And then this heavy great weapon. 3 attacks. 2 hits. Armor piercing 3 on this thing, so the Abyssal Beast needs 6s to save. That's 2 more wounds. Right, the Abyssal Beast will respond. A stomp, 4 dice, quality 4. Armor piercing 1 against the Troll's defense of 4, so 5s to block. 1 goes through. And Trolls famously can regenerate. That's still 1 wound. The Abyssal Beast also has Toxic Fangs, 8 attacks. A Yahtzee of 5 hits. Trolls will now roll to defend. The Toxic Fangs have Bane, so we're re-rolling 6s, and it's going to ignore the Troll's regeneration. So that's 2 fails, 1 save, and then we need to re-roll these 6s. Oof, 4 wounds, no regeneration. trolls are tough 3, so this troll is down. And 2 wounds on this fellow here. A win for the Abyssal Beast there, so a morale check for our 2 remaining trolls. 4 better to succeed. They are staying right there. So the Abyssal Beast can back off a little bit. Alright, it's time to move the Goblin leader on the Giant Cave Beast. Gets to bounce a little bit first, d3 plus 1 inches. 2. And then it will rush. It has Strider, so it can go straight through the ruins. Staying behind Obscurement, though, from the Bolt Thrower. Maybe. Let's check. It looks to me like the Bolt Thrower can see enough of the Giant Cave Beast to shoot at it. Alright, 6 dice at quality 4. The Bolt Thrower is artillery, so it gets +1 to hit rolls at this distance. So, 3 hits with armor piercing 1. The Goblin does have cover from the building, though. So defenses 3 are better. Just 1 wound. Alright, the Dark Elf Witches will rush, coming up behind the Corsairs, staying out of charge range of the Beast Riders. The last Goblin unit to move are the Beast Riders, who are going to bounce out of the ruins, rushing over here. Right, and then the Dark Elf Warriors and the Sorcerers have no choice really but to intercept, so they will charge. Right, the Sorceress will spend both caster points on casting World of Pain on a 4 or better. No, it's a dud. The Beast Riders perform their push in, and then 10 hand weapon attacks from the Dark Elf Warriors, the black die being the Sergeant. A bit of a feeble charge there from the Dark Elves, only 3 hits. Beast Riders save on a 5. 2 casualties, so we'll take off 2 of the unpainted miniatures first. Get off you. Spiky bits. The Beast Riders fight back. 8 attacks with lances first. Of course, they don't get the thrust bonus since they didn't charge. Quality 5. Only 1 hit, which is not blocked though. Oh! And then 8 Acid Fangs. All of which miss. Right, a morale check for the Beast Riders. They lost that battle. They fail, so are shaken. Alright, the Dark Elves back off 1 inch, and then they have their harassing move. So they just neaten up their lines a little bit, and the next thing they can do is the retreating strike. So we're going to roll 8 more dice, and any 6s will kill one of these Beast Riders. Oof, so 1, 2, 3 Beast Riders are killed. And there we go, that's the end of round 1. And each army scores 1 victory point for seizing their headquarters. Round 2. Let's see if there's a random event on a 5 or a 6. No. Goblins to activate first. Let's start with this big bad boy. It will bounce first of all. 3 inches. And then, how about a charge? And our charges don't have to be in a straight line, so I'm thinking kind of that way. There we go. Straight into the back of the Dark Elf Warriors. Let's begin with the stomp. 4 dice. Only quality 5 though. A little bit undisciplined. Still, that's 2 hits. AP 1, so 6 is needed to block, and 6s are re-rolled because goblins are all mischievous. So that is 2 squished Dark Elves. Giant Jaws next. 8 rending strikes. 3 hits. 2 of the hits are rending. So that's 2 Dark Elf Warriors who have been munched. And then a 5 to block that 3rd hit. Nope, that's another Dark Elf munched. Oh dear, we're going to have to take you off, I think. But we also get the Goblin Leader's little hand weapon, 3 attacks. All miss. That was pretty brutal, but the Dark Elves will fight back with hand weapons. 2 hits, and they are both blocked. Well, if that's not a morale test, I don't know what it is, but they do have a banner for +1 to the roll. Oh no, they've bottled it. They are shaken. Right, things are not looking good for the Dark Elves. They have to get to their Goblin headquarters, so let's charge with the Corsairs. Around like this, into the Goblin shooters. The Goblins must now push in. Alright, dual hand weapons from the Corsairs, 10 attacks in total. Quality 4. 6 hits, and Goblins only have a defense of 6. 5 Goblins perish. The Goblins strike back with hand weapons, scoring 2 hits. Corsairs have a defense of 5. Save both. Now, one of those is a 6, and Goblins are mischievous. It gets re-rolled, and is a failure. One Corsair gets tangled up in a net and gets knocked out. A morale check for the Goblins. They pass, hanging in there. Alright, like all Dark Elves, the Corsairs are harassing, so can now move 3 inches, and they're going to move into this building. Alright, they are actually underneath the roof, having climbed through this window. Goblins to activate next. The Trolls, I think. Now, they're not going to be able to kill this Abyssal Beast. You need deadly weapons to kill big monsters, right? But they do need to stop the Abyssal Beast from getting back, so they are going to hunker down. Dark Elf Witches are going to charge into the Goblins. Dual Toxin Daggers. Quality 4. Only 4 hits, but the Goblins need 6s to save. 2 6s. Now, unfortunately for the Goblins, these blades are poisoned. They need to re-roll these 6s. 3 die. That leaves 2 to strike back with hand weapons. 1 hit. Defending on a 5. 1 witch dies. Right, morale check for those 2 Goblins. They fail and they rout. Run away! The witches consolidate this away. And then the Dark Elf harassing feature lets them move another 3 inches this way. The Goblin Beast Riders will hunker down and become unshaken. The Dark Elf Bolt Thrower all bolts into the giant cave beast. We use the focus fire action, so +1 to hit. 5 hits with armor piercing 1. Oh, look at those saves. 1 wound goes through. It's just a scratch. Over at the Goblin headquarters, we have 5 Goblins who should have fired on Overwatch. I positioned this die where I couldn't see it. So they are going to get Overwatch fire at the Corsairs first of all. Only hitting on 6s. Nothing. Now they will activate. They're just in range for focus fire on the Corsairs. So hitting on 4s. Twang! 2 hits. Right, nothing special about short bows, so it's just armor saves with cover. 4 are better to block. 2 Corsairs go down. Right, a morale check for the Corsairs. They pass. The Abyssal Beast is going to turn around and head this way. Let's see what it can do next turn, battling the giant cave beast. And finally, the Dark Elf warriors and the sorceress will take a defensive stance. Alright, that's the end of round 2. The Dark Elf headquarters is contested, so no victory point for them, and the Goblins gain 1. Alright, round 3. Random event? Not this time. Right, Goblins to activate first. They can see maybe they are in a little bit of trouble on the backfield here, but at the same time, they kind of want to smash into this Dark Elf sorceress before she gets a chance to cast a spell. So yes, let's charge in with the Goblin leader. The Dark Elves are in a defensive stance, so The Goblin leader will need 6s to hit. We'll start with the giant cave beast stomp. Misses. Giant jaws. 3 hits. These are all rending, so 6s to block. 3 casualties. I think we'll lose the trumpet blower, the sergeant, and this fellow here, leaving only the sorceress and the banner bearer. Right, the Goblin leader's hand weapon. 1 hit. And the banner bearer's armour saves him. Alright, the Dark Elves. Hand weapons. 3 hits. And the giant cave beast just fails 1 of those saves, so is now on 3 wounds total. Right, the Goblin leader backs off a little bit. The Dark Elves can do a harassing move now, so they're going to move this way a little bit, and then can perform a retreating strike on the Beast Riders. No 6s rolled, so no casualties. Alright, the Sorceress is going to activate using all 4 caster points on the spell Black Bolt, targeting the giant cave beast and Goblin leader. A 3 or better is needed for the spell to work, and it fails. Another failed spell from our Sorceress. That's really going to set them back. Alright, the Sorceress will charge the Beast Riders then. The Beast Riders are hunkering down, which doesn't help them here, so hand weapon attacks will be hitting on a 4. 2 saves required, 2 failures, so 2 Beast Riders are taken down. I was contemplating on having the Beast Fighters not fight back so they could charge the artillery piece more effectively. However, they would have to pass a morale check first, so they may as well fight back here. So, Lances. 1 hit, which is not blocked. There goes the banner bearer. Acid Fangs. Yum, yum, yum. 1 hit. The Sorceress does not defend and takes 1 wound. Right, morale check needed for the Beast Riders. They failed the combat. They fail and they rout. Ba-ding, 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 ba-ding. Alright, Goblins to move. Over here at their headquarters, the shooters will move forwards to form a defensive line. Then shoot their short bows at the witches, who will get cover from the ruins. 2 hits. 1 witch goes down. Okay, the bolt thrower. Focus fire action on the Goblin leader. 4 of the bolts hit. AP 1. 2 wounds. Yeah, this thing is nowhere near dead. It's got tough 15. We've still got the Abyssal Beast, though. The trolls are going to turn and rush this way to help defend their headquarters. And now for the Abyssal Beast, I think. Yes, so it's just at the right range for heavy charge action. Right, starting with the Stomp, hitting on 3s. 2 hits. And the Goblin leader fails both saves. Ooh, Toxic Fangs, 8 attacks. Defense of 3. 3 wounds go through. Alright, the Goblin leader is fatigued, so only hitting on 6s on the fight back. Stomp. 1 hit. Armor piercing 1. That's 1 wound on the Abyssal Beast. Giant Jaws. 0 hits. And the Goblin leader's dinky little hand weapon. No hits. Right, the Goblin leader lost that battle, so he needs to make a morale check. He's on 10 wounds out of his 15 toughness, so on a failure he routs. And he succeeds. He keeps the beast in check and remains here contesting the Dark Elves' headquarters. Alright, over on this side of the table, the witches charge into the Goblin shooters. Dual Toxin Daggers. 4 hits, and the goblins managed 2 saves. However, we need to re-roll them, don't we? Because they're poisoned. So 4 goblins die, leaving 1 to strike back. He misses. Oh dear. Morale check for you, little guy. You're gone. Which means the witches can consolidate forwards to claim the goblin headquarters. They also get their extra move from harassing, so can shift it along this way a bit. Like so. They see the trolls coming. And the final unit to move this round are the Corsairs, and the 2 will move through the ruins to join the witches. It's the final round, round 4. It's 2 victory points each. Let's check to see if there's a random event first. Yeah. Right, D66. The black die is the 10s, so that is 64. Alright, 1 random unit is going to be covered in blood, which gives a 6-inch aura of a -1 penalty debuff to its enemies. Who's it going to be? The randomly chosen unit is the Dark Elf Sorceress. We'll put that there to remind us. Right, goblins to move first. They only have the trolls and the goblin leader left. So, which to move first? I think they want their headquarters back, so we're going to charge with the trolls into the witches. Alright, heavy hand weapon in yellow, heavy great hand weapon in black, quality 4. 1 hit each, 6s to block for the witches, and 2 of them are pulped. The remaining witch strikes back with her poisoned blades. 2 hits. The troll's defense is 4. And the Bane keyword means we need to re-roll that 6. 1 wound that the troll cannot regenerate from. So that's a troll down. 1 wound apiece. Right, so the troll backs off 1 inch. The witch will use harassing to move some minimal amount. She ends a move within 3 inches of the troll, so can now perform a retreating strike. Yeah, the troll takes a wound. Alright, sorceress, you have 1 more chance to get a spell off. So turn around and cast Blade Storm at the goblin leader. Both caster points. You just need to score a 3 or better. You can do it. The winds of magic are not with you today. Alright, she's just going to go into a defensive stance. Just stand there, covered in blood, for that morale penalty. Alright, the goblin leader. I think his best chance to keep contesting this headquarters is not to charge into combat, but to go into a defensive stance. But he's going to bounce around first. That's going to be 3 inches movement. Does that get him out of the morale debuff range from the covered in blood? I don't think so. You're still in 6 inches there. Okay, defensive stance. Alright, back over here. The Corsairs can perform a heavy charge into the troll. Twin hand weapons hitting on 3s. 3 hits. Only 1 manages to cut through the troll's thick hide. Can the troll regenerate? Nope. So he's up to 2 wounds. He can strike back, but he is fatigued, right? Heavy great weapon, hitting on 6s. A swing and a miss. Morale check for the troll. He fails, he turns and runs. The bolt thrower will make a focused fire onto the goblin leader. 2 hits, and that giant cave beast blocks both of the bolts. That means it's down to the abyssal beast to make a heavy charge and see if we can clear this goblin menace away. Right, starting with the stomp. The total penalty to hit is -1, so we'll need 5s. The stomp completely misses. Next up, Toxic Fangs. That roll of a 6 with Predator Fighter means it gets an extra attack with the jaws, which hits. Alright, can the Goblin Beast shrug off the attack? Now, some nice 6s there, but he's toxic, so I need to re-roll these 6s. Right, that is 3 wounds. Right, 13 wounds total, not quite a kill. Now, the giant cave beast and the goblin leader can strike back. Stomp, first of all. At only quality 5, those are all misses, but we've got these giant jaws next. Right, 2 rending hits. The Abyssal Beast doesn't save either. 2 wounds, and then a regular armor save against this one, which is blocked. Right, what's the result? 2 wounds on the Abyssal Beast, 3 on the Goblin and his Cave Beast, which means the Goblin leader needs to make a morale check. And at -1, because the sorceress is covered in blood, he'll need a 6 to stay in the fight. And he's gone, no, I've had enough. Ba-doing, ba-doing, ba-doing. Right, it's the end of round 4. The entire Goblin army has been routed. The Dark Elves scored 2 victory points for seizing both of the headquarters and an extra victory point for seizing more objectives than the enemy. So the final scores are 5-2 in the Dark Elves' favour. So, well done to the pointy-eared ones. Hang on, both armies have pointed ears. And I'm sure I've forgotten something somewhere along the line, right? I'll have missed a morale check or something. I'm sure you'll let me know in the comments. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, everyone. I will see you next time.